Welcome to the It's More Than Just Money movement channel. And we are on the winner's circle. And I'm sitting with Mr. Jabu Zwane. I think you guys are going to be blown away by the conversation that we're about to have. But before we start, please click on the subscribe button, click on the notifications bell, comment, let us know where you're watching from. And as you know, we've reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we are going towards 11,000 subscribers today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Bring it in. We're going towards 11,000 subscribers today. Our target for this year, 2024, is 100,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to put in the work. Yes, give us a round of applause in advance. Give it to us in advance. And we are doing our best to bring you guys quality content and to shoot content that's inspiring, content that's going to help people change their lives and move it to the next level, especially when it comes to their businesses, their careers, their mindsets, and as well as anything. It could be their personal lives as well.
Yeah.
Their mindsets as well, Mr. Z.
Always.
We've had you in the winner's circle before. A lot of people have asked for a part 2 from the last time. I see you on the screen there as well. From the last time we had your episode, over 2,000 people have watched it, and people have been asking for part 2. Why do you think they're asking for part 2?
I think people could relate to a lot of what I was talking about. And also there's an element of supposed surprise, because people sometimes look at you from where you are and they don't always imagine where you come from.
Sure. They don't always imagine where you come from.
Yeah.
So do you think people should actually use their imagination a lot? And maybe you're prompting a question from me that what role does imagination play in anything?
The thing about it is this: imagination is only as good as your exposure.
Imagination is only as good as your exposure.
It's only as good as your exposure.
Okay.
So the thing about it is this: whenever people see you at a much later stage of your life, they're exposed to the element of you that is maybe successful.
Yeah.
And they have a certain perception of what that is. And they don't always then imagine beyond what they see in front of them. Especially if, according to what they know, it's something completely different from what they can do for themselves. So on purpose, I sound like I don't come from a certain background.
You sound like you don't come from a poor background. Say it.
Yes.
Not a certain background.
Okay, fine.
It's a poor background.
On purpose, I sound like I don't come from a poor background.
Okay.
And it's part of my survival skill, but we can go into that later.
Part of your survival skills.
It's part of my survival skill. And now it has become a part of my thriving skill. And we can speak about that. How do you move from survival to thriving? And so whenever people then hear me speak, they can't imagine that I come from where I come from. But I think most of the time, actually, it's a fault of us people who are successful.
Sure.
Because we don't talk about where we come from.
Right.
We don't talk enough about where we come from, which then makes it harder for people to imagine that we come from the same places where they're sitting.
Yeah.
Or where they come from themselves. And that we haven't overcome the same things that they're facing on a daily basis.
Okay.
And I think when I spoke about those very intimate elements that they know very well what I was speaking about, that's why then people are like, oh, wow. I'd like to know a bit more about how then you moved from eating a loaf of polony and vomiting
Yes.
to, today where you are.
So when he talked about eating a loaf of polony and vomiting, and then I'm going to need you to speak up a bit. Ne? I don't know. Are you shy, my man?
No, I think my mic is a bit low. It's a bit low. Let me try and see.
Yeah. So when he talked about eating a loaf of polony, is it called a loaf of polony?
Yes.
Food, what is it called? A loaf of polony?
It's a loaf.
It's a loaf.
Like a meatloaf. It's a loaf.
It's a meatloaf.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Honestly, I didn't know that. Right? When he grew up poor and when he started to make some money, there's a point in time where he bought polony for the first time with his money.
Mm-hmm.
And from then, he chowed the entire polony that day, all of it. And he bought a dozen of eggs and fried all of them.
At one
That's
point.
what happened.
Yes, and a full chicken at one point, yeah.
And a full chicken at one point. Okay, cool. Now people understand where you come from. But I think where I want to lead the conversation today, as we were speaking before we started the session, you said you would want to touch more on masculinity. I don't know why you want to talk about masculinity and why it relates to business or anything. Maybe, I don't know, perhaps you could get into that and let me know why.
I mean, it's important to talk about it because it is a topic that has become very controversial. People are talking about toxic masculinity and then the need then to revisit and to redefine masculinity.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to talk about it because masculinity for me is a productive component of being a human being. It's productive energy. The way that I normally think of masculinity, I think of it this way. I think of feminine energy as nurturing energy, right? Nurturing is important for us to grow. So the nurturing environment that women and mothers create for us, it creates a safe environment for us to grow, to become who we need to be. And subsequently, of course, it does require then those elements of gentleness.
But what's masculinity? Someone might be sitting here and they want to get into business, for instance, right?
Yeah.
And I see young guys here, they want to do business, they want to prosper, they want to make money. And we are saying there's toxic masculinity, there is good masculinity. What does that have to do with doing business? And if you're a woman, what does that have to do with you, for instance?
For me, like I said, the simple definition of masculinity, let me talk about masculine energy. For me, it's productive energy. It's the energy that we use to work, to produce things, to make things happen.
Okay.
And then the masculine mindset is that mindset of productivity, which has laws, which is more processes, which is more logical, which is more, if you compare that to the feminine energy, which tends to be a lot more on the science side of things, masculine energy is more on the science part of things.
Okay. So I want us to simplify it, right? So let's say, for instance, me not from the township, right?
Yeah.
I'm a young guy from the township. I'm sitting here, I'm listening to a podcast, and somebody says toxic masculinity. Simple words. What does that mean?
I mean, the way that I have heard them speak about it, to call toxic masculinity, it is that when you use the same productive energy, which tends to be physical, to oppress others.
Okay.
You don't use it productively.
Right.
You use it in a way that is dysfunctional. You can use it to oppress people, to discriminate against people, to be violent, to be aggressive. So the same type of energy, the only challenge there is that what are you using it for? What are you using it for? Because again, productivity, if we think about it in the work environment, it's also rather the productive energy is also competitive energy. So part of toxic masculinity, they talk about the competitiveness of men, right? The way that we compete against each other, that sometimes it gets toxic because then we tend to then become less compassionate to our competitors, and you want to win at all costs. And then obviously creates an oppressive environment. It creates that hierarchy.
Yeah, but shouldn't men want to win? Or men or women? Shouldn't it be, and perhaps Coach, you can jump in, shouldn't men want to compete and win? I mean, look at society, how it's been built from the days of like Alexander the Great. Men have been people that have always wanted to conquer something.
Yeah.
It's not like today. Today that there were no Twitter warriors back then.
Yeah.
If you wanted something, you had to go out, conquer, and get it.
Yeah.
And which is the energy that's required also in business. I know women conquer too.
Yeah.
Now, when we say that is part of or could be toxic, are we then not saying people should limit themselves and not go out and get what they want?
No, I don't think it's synonymous with that. I think for me, winning is about becoming the best that you can possibly be. Also in relation to the fact that you're part of a community. So if I have to win and then you lose, but your loss actually is your own, like your demise. for me, I don't think it works in that way, where I have to take something from you, I have to oppress you, I have to dominate you in order for me to win. And it doesn't matter then what happens to you. For me, that's not competition. So competitiveness, for me, the way that I think about it is that I look at what you're doing and I'm thinking, this guy's doing something great.
Sure.
And is living in his own element. What will it take for me to live in my own element?
Okay, what does it mean? Wait, what does it mean to live in your element?
To live in who you are, to live in what you're called to be.
Okay.
What is the solutions that you're supposed to bring to the world?
The solutions that you're
supposed to bring to the world. The value you're supposed to give to your community and to the world. What if the value that you can bring to the world is so much greater than mine, but because you're competing against me, is it not possible that you're limiting yourself to me because you're competing with me?
Yeah.
For me, the objective is that I am curious to know how far will I go if I completely unleashed myself.
Without competing with anyone.
Without competing with anyone.
Okay.
I can appreciate your craft and be able to celebrate you and urge you to continue, because ultimately your win, especially if you are in my circle, is gonna vicariously your wins are gonna fall over on me. By association, I'm gonna gain something.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the very same time as well, if I go all the way and I do what I'm supposed to do and I become the best that I possibly can, you also then in return are going to gain. And I think the challenge with the history you've mentioned of Alexander the Great is that you have to see other people as enemies.
Okay.
You have to see them as a subject that you've got to dominate.
Are you saying enemies don't exist? Do you guys don't have enemies? Oh, by the way, if you're on YouTube watching this, we've got an audience in the studio, right?
Yeah.
In the shop, we've got an audience. And they will be allowed an opportunity to also contribute to the conversation. Yeah. So I just wanted to know, you said in the days of Alexander the Great, to be able to conquer and win, you have to see others or
dominate
people that you're conquering as enemies, right?
Yeah.
And I'm asking that in the days that we live in now, is there no such thing as an enemy? Are you saying that?
I think we don't have enemies in the true sense of the word, because an enemy is somebody who wants to see your demise. And every day, according to the Bible, they're plotting for your fall.
Okay.
They're actively, if you think about it from the Bible says that there were like 40 men that were plotting every day that they're going to see Paul fall. That was their existence. Like they will go and they'll make sure they block your ways. They'll make sure that they go and steal your resources. They'll make sure that they destroy whatever that you're doing. That's what an enemy is. The true thing that we have today is probably at best we have haters, which are people that hate what you're doing. They may not necessarily hate you so much. They're uncomfortable with you and what you're doing. They hate whatever you're doing. They hate how it makes them feel. Because ultimately, if I'm looking at a young person like yourself, I'm 45 and you are, who knows, 29, 32. And the thing about it is that I am a black man, you're a black man. We both grew up in South Africa, and I'm 45 and I'm selling myself the story that, things are so hard, I can't make it happen. And the apartheid and women and beach, whatever, I have all these excuses.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, here rocks up witness. Black like me, man like me.
Black like me, there's a brand like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what
I'm saying? But the thing is that, and then he's making it happen. He's killing it. Are my excuses valid anymore?
So it didn't validate your excuses.
It invalidates your excuses and it calls you to account for what you have not done. And unfortunately, most people don't like accountability, especially men. A lot of men don't like accountability, especially about their productivity. They don't like it.
Accountability about their
productivity.
Coach, I see you nodding.
They don't like.
I actually want to ask you, Jabu, when you look at society and how things have changed, what has changed in the concept of masculinity? And if you're looking at how boys are being raised now, what concerns you?
Are boys soft? Are they soft now?
Just when he's observing, what has changed around this concept of masculinity and how boys are being raised?
I think the fear of what happened in the past is overruling the reality. It's too much of an influence. Just because there were some men in history that decided to dominate and kill other people, it doesn't mean that us today, with the knowledge that we've got, with the enlightenment that we've got, we cannot make judgments to say that that's the wrong way of living. We have to find a different way. Now, to condemn the entire masculine, and especially to condemn the entire man, and seeing men as a danger, like we have in society, I think that's wrong. Right. I think for me, it really turns me off when I know that I'm an older brother of many sisters, not just my own biological, but many women who are cousins. But everywhere that I go, I was raised with the mindset of being an older brother and protecting and making sure that I tend to the safety of everybody who's around me. And then somebody looks at me and thinks that I'm a danger to them. It makes me nervous, number one. And number one, if I'm very honest, one of my biggest fears, can I tell you what one of my biggest fears is? One of my biggest fears is to be falsely accused as a man. It's one of my biggest fears. And that's one of the reasons why, for example, when I travel in my car, if I see you as a woman on the side of the road, I'm sorry, I don't care whether it's raining or not, I'm not going to pick you up.
You won't pick a lady up when it's raining. Why? And why? Get into that. Why?
Purely because of the fact that now that I am potentially being framed as somebody who could hurt someone, who's dangerous, who could rape, who could do all of these things, I'm protecting myself now. And that's what is happening, is that you see a lot of men that are good men that are protecting themselves, that don't want to be part of certain solutions because they don't want to get caught up in the drama. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to get caught up in the drama. You don't want to have a situation where you are being accused of doing things that you know you have not done. When I'm being seen as a potential rapist, you know, or like somebody once said to me that you're a black man, you have probably raped someone already.
Someone said that to you?
Somebody said that to me.
Were they black?
No.
That's where the problem is. Why do you let other people define who you are?
No, but the thing is that I've been in similar situations where because I get myself many times in many discussions with a lot of women forums. For some reason, I get invited sometimes to come and speak. I find myself even being the only speaker. I mean, they'll always come and say, because, you know, and I found myself in many conferences being the only male speaker. But then in those same rooms, you'll find certain women who feel that I cannot speak the way that I speak, and I should just accept that men are dangerous and masculinity is an energy that has to be suppressed, and it should not be part of society in any way.
Do you think this affects the household income? You know, when you look at masculinity and how it's looked at, and you look at how men perceive women, women perceive men, does it get to a point where, I mean, things are tough for a lot of people in the country right now, right? Financially speaking. And then we're talking about these issues that are societal issues. Toxic masculinity. Young men have got too much, toxic masculinity, if you can put it that way.
Exactly.
But those same young people or young men one day have to get married. How do they continue the family structure when they think of each other in that way? And how do households nowadays then position themselves to make money and prosper as a household when I see you, or I mean, not me, when your wife sees you as toxic, you see her as whatever? How do you guys work together and build wealth in that instance? What have you seen? I mean, you were a pastor as well, right? You've counseled many couples when you were a pastor. And then now you're in business and you speak on mindsets. When you marry the two, the societal issues as well as now the business side of things and the money side of things, do they marry?
To answer your first question, it undoubtedly affects productivity. There's absolutely no doubt about it. There are several women that are complaining about the fact that they're coming across men who don't want to work, but who want to actually,
men don't want to work.
They don't want to work, and they want to actually take money from the work.
I see you nodding there. Do you want to add to this? Yeah. Oh, you think it's true also?
Yeah.
Men that don't want to work.
Men that don't want to work.
And gents, you also agree?
No, we're not saying you.
Yeah. Yeah, can you qualify it?
No, I'm saying that there are a lot of men that I know that don't want to work and they want to be married to a woman that already has their things and take from her. There are many of them because they have been taught growing up that they don't have to work. You see, the challenge with this whole trying to oppress masculinity, what do you call it, masculinity, is that we're not pushing productivity. We're not pushing the importance of working hard, earning your keep. And after you earn your keep and actually making enough to also provide and avail for other people. That's not pushed. That's what we grew up with. We understood that potentially whatever we're going to make later on in life is not just for us. And here's something that I want you to think about. Productivity is to be motivated. Am I right or am I wrong?
Productivity is to be motivated.
Productivity.
You can be. I don't agree with that statement. I feel like you can be productive without being motivated.
But are you going to be productive if you don't get rewarded?
No. Wait. There's a difference between reward and product.
No, hold on a second. Let's talk about what's reward.
Let's get into
what is reward.
Wait. Leadership, please calm down. Let me help you with the English, because you, with your English, you'll trouble a lot of people here. Motivation speaks to motive. There's something that motivates you to do something.
In its original form,
give me a
I'll stay with you.
Give me a chance. Let me finish.
Okay, fine.
Getting into the English dictionary. And then reward is different. It's something that you get for doing something.
Exactly.
You can do something without necessarily being motivated. But if you do it well, you'll be rewarded. You understand?
Correct.
Or you could be motivated because you're going to get a reward. That's a totally different story, right? But in any case, reward is not necessarily linked to motivation all the time.
Okay.
There are people who are not necessarily... I can wake up in the morning, right? Personally. We talked about men and wanting to work. My man, whether I'm motivated or not, I have to go and work. You know why? I've got a child that I have to provide for.
That's motivation.
It's not motivation. It's commitment.
It's still motivation.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm not motivated. I might wake up that morning and feel like I don't even want to work. But the commitment to the cause, if I'm a self-respecting man, like I think I am, well, I hope I am, right? I will wake up and go work anyway, whether I'm motivated or not.
Okay, let me twist it back to you. You said the word.
Come through.
Give me a second.
She wants to say something.
You said something about the motive.
Yeah.
You said let me use your own words.
Yes.
You said motivation. The root word is motive. When you don't feel like getting up,
yes,
to go and work, but you think about your daughter.
Yes.
What do you think about your daughter?
You know what's pushing me there? It's not reward in that instance.
No, not reward. Let's go back to your word, motive. What's your motive for getting up even when you don't feel like getting up?
What's my motive?
Yes.
My motive on that instance,
yes,
could be my daughter.
Exactly.
But she's not the motivation.
She's the motive regardless.
No. It's not her. She's not the motivation.
No, but the thing, her well-being is a motive.
Yeah?
Her well-being is a motive.
It's not a motive.
What is it then?
Listen. Motive speaks to, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Whether I'm motivated to do something or not. You understand? So I'm going to do it anyway. Remember when you said reward.
No, but
you said motivation and reward are the same.
You know what the thing is? You did what I did to you.
Did you not say that? Motivation, reward is the same thing.
Hold on a second. I didn't say it's the same. I said reward motivates.
Oh, you're saying reward motivates.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
what I was saying. You interrupted me. You interrupted me.
Yeah.
And the reality is that even whether you're motivated or not.
Let's give it a chance.
Let me close this thing one quickly.
Yeah.
Whether you're motivated or not, there's something in between there that's a motive, regardless of whether you're motivated or not. There's a thing that will get you to get up. What is that thing? Because that's your motive. That's your purpose. That's the thing that will make you get up.
Yeah, but it's not a reward.
No, but this reward is part of motivation, but it's not necessarily motivation.
Thank you. I think we agree there.
I think my only comment here is the English is very deep.
The English is deep,
got confused.
and that's why the
mathematics was not adding up.
Hey, the English can dribble us, but you have the floor.
But I think also it's not just being motivated and the reward. So there's a process and then there's an end goal. So the process is you being motivated. The end goal is the reward. So yes, you will get up and say, I need to take care of my child. Therefore, I need to work. But that doesn't mean you are engaged in that work to provide for your child. So the motive is the child.
Yes.
The reward, it does not give you satisfaction. Therefore, you don't see it as a reward.
Yes.
So hence you say that you can be motivated, but it does not mean it's linked to a reward. It's because of there's a level of disengagement between the action and the outcome.
Yeah,
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for the English.
Yeah, I agree. Because you could be rewarded, but not necessarily motivated to do the thing.
Of course.
But you'll get the reward anyway. Happy reward doesn't choose. It's based on, is the work done?
It's one component of it.
Wait.
It's one component of it.
When you're not motivated to do something and you get it, we don't call it a reward. A reward is something that you aim at and then you get. The minute you get it, they say, oh yes, I'm rewarded. It's something that you look forward to. It's something that you say, okay, I need to do this. That's my reward. I'm going to get it.
Okay,
So-
let me ask you something before you continue. Right, guys, I'm sure you're watching this episode and thank you for tuning in. On the 29th of June, you must remember that we've got the It's More Than Just Money Business and Property Seminar that we are hosting at the Polokwane Royal Hotel, which is in Polokwane. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. We had an amazing time in Witbank. We had amazing speakers and we are going to be having amazing speakers in Polokwane as well. So if you haven't purchased your ticket, please contact our office on 062-766-5612 and arrange for your spot. Seats are limited, but we are looking forward to having you there. Our team is going to be preparing an amazing, amazing seminar session for you. I'll see you on the 29th of June at the Polokwane Royal Hotel. More Than Just Money. Continue watching the episode. Ciao, guys. Let's say I've got a 5-year-old. Ne? They don't know that I'm going to give them a reward. You understand? I say to her, I don't tell her, if you do 1, 2, 3, I'll give you this. I just say to her, pick up your shoes every day when you come home for 5 days, right? I don't tell her what the reward is, but I know that I'm going to reward her. She does it every day for 5 days. And then I take out a 100 note and I say, because you did this work, I am rewarding you. I'm giving you $100.
Yeah.
It's a reward, is it not?
You're right.
It is a reward, yeah.
It's a reward.
It's a reward. But she didn't know that she's going to be rewarded.
Yes.
You understand? So what I'm saying, when I say the important thing is to do what's required, whether or not you get the result immediately, is neither here nor there. But if at the end of the day you did it well and you get rewarded, it's still a reward if you knew or not, whether you knew or not. Coach, help me.
You know what?
The English.
Let's put it like this. The English is very deep in this episode. The
Yeah.
thing is, if you do not put that goal and it does not become your reward at the end of the tunnel, it will determine the amount of energy you're going to use to get that thing. And the amount
If
of
you know what the
time.
reward is.
No,
Yeah.
you need to set up. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
You're telling yourself that in the next 2 years, I need to have a Lamborghini. When you wake up, what's in your head? Lamborghini, right? So you work towards Lamborghini. You are expanding your business. You are promoting your book. You get into different countries, whatever it takes to get that Lamborghini. However, if you don't have that Lamborghini in mind, you'll just wake up and do it for the sake of doing it. If the Lamborghini
The
comes-
Lamborghini is motivation.
Yes,
It is.
that's
That-
the
yeah.
word.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Let me finish the thought that I started because you
Coach,
didn't
you
allow
want to jump in? No,
You can finish, but it's a lot of English.
first. It's not a lot of English. The thing is that he didn't let me finish. You interrupted me and I couldn't finish my thought. But when you're done, just
I
give me one-
apologize.
Can you finish the thought?
Finish it so I can. You want him to finish it first?
No,
or you
yeah,
want
I
to say
think
something?
he already has a thought in his mind, so I'll keep mine there. I'll keep mine brewing.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to say, I think we're just restricting our definition of reward to something that maybe you thought of, something that's big, something that's great.
Yes.
But when you are motivated or when you do a task, even when you don't have the energy to do it, you have an expectancy of you're expecting a certain outcome. So the reward is what you're expecting. If you go to work when you don't feel like it, you have an expectation that as long as I keep doing this way, even when I don't feel like it, my business is going to grow. That's the expectation. If the expectation is meaningful to you, you will do it.
Yes.
That's the reason why I'll do this is because I know it leads to a certain outcome. If that outcome is meaningful, you'll do it. If that outcome is guaranteed, you will do it even faster.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't agree, but it's fine. Let's give him.
No, it's good.
I'll tell you why. It's fine. I'll tell you why. Ne? You want
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing. The reason why people quit on business, right? Someone starts a business. They have an expectation. She mentioned, I'm working for a Lamborghini for the next 2 years. 2 years comes. Maybe she did not achieve the goals that she wanted to achieve, right? Then there's no Lamborghini. What does the person do? They quit and go start another business. Here's my mindset. I can do something repeatedly even if it's not working. Because if it's not working in terms of the finances, it's working on me.
That's expectation.
Wait, there's no expectancy. I don't know what the outcome is.
The expectancy is you expect to get better.
But I didn't interrupt.
No, let me hold on a second. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me finish up the thought. It's working on you. What is that for you?
Let me
Is
finish.
it not again? No, hold on. You say that it's working on you.
Yeah, Mara.
Isn't what's working on you? Are you not getting something for you from that action?
Yes, but listen, here's what I'm saying. Ne, don't define it for me.
No, I'm not defining.
My English data bundles are there.
No, I'm asking.
Define it myself.
I'm asking the question. Here's what there's something for you, but I want you to tell me what this thing for you.
Let me tell you what I'm saying, right? 2 people start out in business. I'm going to work it out as an example.
Yeah.
2 people start out in business. We all want to prosper in business, isn't it? Guys that are here, you want to make some money, right? But have you noticed that not everybody makes money in business?
Of course.
And that's why statistics say
Over 90%.
4 out of 5 businesses fail within 1 to 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some would fail within the first year. It's because you're working on something, it's not working. You say, this thing is not working. So what are you going to do? You stop doing it so that you can do the next thing. But one thing you're forgetting, you are taking the same joker that didn't prosper in this business into another business. Ne? My point is, if the thing I'm doing is not working, right? Perhaps it is working on me.
Which is your expectation.
No, I don't have an expectancy. It's working on me. Whether I have an expectation of it working on me or not is irrelevant. It's going to work on me anyway because I'm doing it. Anything that you do will produce results for as long as you're doing it. If it doesn't produce results in that thing, it will produce the results on the person who's doing it. Because there's no way you could really do your best on something and remain the same.
That's your expectancy.
It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset.
No, whether you don't get me.
Yeah, no.
Problem, you guys love English. What I'm saying is, whether there's an expectation or not,
Right,
it's going to happen.
What I'm saying is,
whether I'm expecting it, it doesn't matter. If I say to you, I'm expecting, it will happen.
Okay. Now let me.
Expectancy for what? Because it's going to happen anyway.
Okay.
that's what you expect that it will happen if you
Expecting
stick at it.
No.
I
Expectation
agree with
is,
him. It's not expectation. But I agree with him.
Expectation is there could be a possibility that this thing will not happen. But I'm hoping and expecting. Again,
Jabu agrees
but
with you.
if I do it and the outcome is going to be an outcome anyway, why isn't it an expectation?
I agree
It's
with
going to happen anyway.
Okay.
All right, so
Expectation. It's not expectation. Good. The thing is this.
you have some water.
let me finish my thought. Now allow me, just give me 1 minute to finish my thought that I started that you interrupted. And then we digress for almost 20 minutes.
And then you'll go back to COVID.
Let me give you my thought. You asked me a question.
Yeah.
Does the fact that men we're talking about productivity. This whole thing of toxic masculinity, does it not affect productivity? That was the question.
Sure.
Yes. And I said, absolutely it does. And I said, one of the reasons why it does that is because it's also a lack of motivation because of a lack of reward. What I did not say was that reward is the sole reason why people are motivated. And what I did not say was that motivation is the only thing that you need to be productive. Motivation can boost productivity. The question for you was that, does it make them less productive? And I say, yes, it does, because they lack motivation. And a big part of motivation is the affirmation of your value. When a woman says to you, wow, my husband, you're working hard. Look at us. Look at what we're doing in our family because of you. That motivates you to become even more productive.
Sure, I agree with you.
So that was the question that you were asking me. And that's what I was answering.
Yeah.
That because of a
what
lack...
becomes your reward there?
The reward is the gratification that you get from being told, wow, you're amazing. It might not even be money.
Okay. So you're saying a lot of men don't get that?
A lot of men don't get that. That is the number one complaint that most men is constant criticism.
Yeah.
Is a lack of appreciation for their hard work.
Yeah.
And it's a quick judgment for anything that they do wrong.
Okay, I have a question for both of you.
So, and for that reason, let me finish up.
Yeah.
And because of that, when you're constantly being criticized for your commitment and your hard work, even though it may not necessarily be yielding the results, it demotivates you, it discourages you. And then you become less productive because of that. And that is what is currently happening, where there is a lack of appreciation for each other's work. Whether it be, if, for example, a man decides to undermine a woman because of she's staying at home and raising the kids, she becomes demotivated to raise the kids. So the entire productivity in the home then gets what? It gets affected, because you have a man who's not being appreciated and who's demotivated, who's less productive.
Maybe they're saying he's toxic.
Because he's saying he's toxic.
Yeah.
And now he's having to control something that is naturally part of his value expression.
His bravado.
His bravado. You know what I mean? That whole energy is now, we're having to now control that because it's potentially dangerous. And who wants to be living around hurting people? I don't want to be viewed as somebody who can potentially hurt people. So then that makes me less productive. Because that one of the, if we're going to be very fair here, for us men, one of our biggest motivators is how our women view us in terms of productive elements. Intelligence.
Okay, me, I'm not married. So what happens? And it's a good question, ne? You know why I say so.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, right? Why does a woman have to motivate you to do what you need to do anyway with your life?
Because it's part of...
Why do you need motivation to do what you need to do with your life anyway? Why should a woman you met, like now, I'm in my 30s, right? I'm not married. I meet a woman today. Ne? I meet someone. Now, all of a sudden, my whole motivation to prosper depends on this person. But this person was not there all my life. Why do I need to impress her?
Hold on a second. Let me rebuttal your point.
To keep her around.
Your point is it's not the only motivation. Witness.
No,
it's part of motivation. Let's go back. Guys, let's talk about listening skills. Okay. This is important in communication, because it's also part of what's happening here. Part of communication is that be careful of your narrative and whatever you feel strongly about in your narrative, because it's going to influence how you listen and what your mind latches on. Women are not
deliberate.
Yeah, but women are not the sole motivation for me as a man.
Yeah, but if they put you down to a point you don't work. Didn't he say that?
I said that no.
Wait.
I said the lack of...
All right, let him
No, I didn't.
Don't be defensive. Let me tell you what you said. You said a lot of men feel unappreciated, isn't it? And then to the point where they end up not doing anything because they are put down. And my question is, if all your life you've been working and the woman was not there, why all of a sudden when you've met a woman, she's able to put you down for something you've been doing anyway? I'm just saying, I'm challenging that narrative, right? I'm challenging those words where you say a lot of men are put down because women say a couple of things, they're unappreciative. And I'm saying, I'm 30-something. I'm okay working right now. There's no one motivating me. Now I meet a beautiful woman, I marry her. Now my motivation to work depends on this person. Ganja.
No, it does not depend.
No, even the small words, whether it's partially or not.
Listen,
I want to understand that.
the reality is this: if I'm working with you and then we have a relationship, how you impact me. You're part of me. You as my friend right now, you're part of me.
Yeah.
What
But you work, whether I motivate you or not, you work, don't you?
And look, the thing about it is that, listen, your words matter because your words have power, because I've given you that place down. I've given you that place in my heart because we trust each other, and trust is powerful. It's a powerful element of influence and persuasion in somebody's life.
So access, basically.
You have access to deeper parts of me that other men out there don't care. I couldn't care. I don't know them, but I know you. And if you say to me, you know, you say some hurtful things to me, they're going to get to me because of who you are to me.
Now, if you say hateful things to me, they won't get to me. I'm going to cut you off.
But the thing is that, but why are you cutting me off?
Simple.
Why are you cutting me off?
But
Why
here's my point. Yeah, but wait. And
Why can't you say, listen, you're my friend, you said hurtful things to me, it doesn't affect me. Let's continue being friends. Why don't you say that?
No. Because you know why I'm cutting you off? Because I've been doing well without you anyway. That's the point I'm making.
My words got to you. They hurt you. That's why you decided to cut me off.
You acted.
Otherwise, it's like,
but the point I'm making, here's the point I'm making. I'm challenging the narrative that, right, anyone outside of you has got some effect to the point. It's because you allow it. You said it yourself. You said you've allowed me into a space. And I want to give her a chance and give coach, because you and I, we can talk until tomorrow. So I want to give them a chance.
Just to bring in a little bit of a woman touch there.
Woman touch.
On that conversation, right?
Yes.
The minute you open up your heart and you let your guard down on someone, doesn't matter who that person is, right?
Yeah.
So you let your guard down and you expose yourself. In spiritual context, we say you are completely naked to that person, right? Now, when you're naked to this person, you do that because you trust them. You don't have to worry about what they do. Now, here's the thing. The person behind has a motive to harm you. Now that they have you here, what do? They harm you. Yes. That's what he means when he says
they've got you at a place where...
Absolutely. And you placed your trust, your guard down, everything, it's there. You don't stress about a whole lot of stuff when that person is around. Now, when they harm you, they affect how you live, how you decide, how you're motivated, how you move, everything you do. They affect it because of where you have placed them.
Yeah.
So that's why he says that they can change you. And where there's lack of motive, it goes both ways, by the way, women and
men and
both
women.
sides.
Both sides. And in fact, not even just those type of relationships, even with family, mother and father.
And friendships.
In friendships, even with school. In fact, there's a scientific study that kids that perform higher, the teachers expect higher, they are motivated the more. That's why they perform the most.
Exactly.
But those that perform lower, they're not motivated. No one pays attention to them. We know you, 40% is your thing. You and 40% are best friends. Exactly. So they don't motivate you, even though you know that you have a potential to perform. But because of the person who means the most to you doesn't expect much from you, you don't give much.
Okay. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, that's a
great point. You're going to come back because I've got a question. Okay, Coach. Coach, you've been listening to me and Mr. Z at loggerheads with one.
You were getting charged and I was...
We're charged. Loggerheads, go down.
I don't know how we got here, but anyway.
It's fine. It's okay, right?
Well, the issue of men being traumatized to the point of not working, it's not every man who responds in that way.
Can a woman traumatize you to the point of not working on your dreams?
Yes.
I mean, no.
So there's different topics here.
Different mindset.
I mean, can a woman traumatize you to the point where you stop working? Okay, Coach,
so there's a number of topics here. She mentioned vulnerability.
Yes.
When you give someone access to your life and your heart, you become vulnerable.
Coach, you and I have been divorced, right?
And that's what I am telling you.
He's never been divorced, so he hasn't been at that point. We've been. right?
So
We've been traumatized. Why didn't we give up on our dreams?
I've been traumatized. Wow.
all right.
Whole trauma with women.
So let me finish. I'll give you the answer.
Yeah.
There's this vulnerability element, right? But there's also the maturity element. When you were 20 years, you would have responded in a different way. But now that you've learned more, you became this guy, how you respond now is different. But someone else is not where you are.
Exactly.
And when they face that challenge, they're not yet at your level of maturity when it comes to this thing.
Okay.
So that guy will be traumatized to the point of giving up. Then there's the element of strategies. Given the same information, given the same circumstances, we employ different strategies to how we work. Some strategies are just bad because we've never had a witness to teach me how to do this thing. Right? So the woman comes, puts me down, and because I don't know any good strategies of working my way out of this situation, I give up because I don't know it better.
Yeah.
So there's a number of variables that
Is that an
that
age
affect
thing or a maturity thing?
not necessarily an age thing.
It's both. It's experiences as well. Let's think about how does a person become mature. Time makes you mature because of the amount of things you get exposed to. Time makes you mature because of the amount of time to practice some of the things that you're not very good at. We have to be very careful, witness, especially you and I, who have been exposed to so much in life, especially in the space of thought and consciousness. You are,
The word conscious.
yes, you are exposed to multiple consciousnesses, from the Jews to black people to international people to multimillionaires, billionaires to people who are right there. All those experiences give you a way of thinking that broadens you, that doesn't restrict you to one way of thinking. That's why you can say, Mina never. I can say the same thing that Mina never, because of I have experienced, I would never and I can never let a woman put me in that place. But at the very same time, I remember being a young person who depended on approval from the people who are part of my circle.
Validation.
I needed that validation so that I can be 100% sure in who I am. And until I'm fully validated, it becomes very difficult for me to say, I know who I am. If you didn't have strong validation from your mother, from your grandmother, and from some other people in your life, it would have been very difficult for you as a human being to have the confidence you've got today. And there are multiple people in the world that don't have the same confidence because of a lack of that validation. And a huge part of that validation as a man is the opposite sex. In society, from the teachers to the girlfriends, to the sisters, to the mothers, to the aunts, that's part of a validation. And if you don't get enough of that, you become insecure.
So because you're, you are saying a man who was not validated by his mother and his grandmother and his sisters is going to seek for validation from women that they date or marry.
It's going to have difficulty being confident.
Then you have a problem. So you need to sort out the problem. The problem
Difficulty doesn't mean that you can't overcome it. No, witness. It doesn't mean that you can't overcome
it's fine. Continue.
You will have difficulty, which means that it's an obstacle that you're going to have to learn how to overcome. And to overcome that obstacle, you will need to take time.
Please define the obstacle. So I want the guys to also...
I'm going to use the word.
The obstacle? What's the obstacle?
It's a variable of difficulty.
Yeah, I know what an obstacle is. I'm saying define what the obstacle is.
The obstacle is a lack of validation. Your memory does not have enough instances where you're being validated. So when you think about yourself, outside of what you think about yourself, you don't have anything else external to support what you're thinking.
Why do you need anything external to validate?
Because it's what's called sanity. The only way that you'll know sanity is that if you confirm that I'm saying. The reason why I've got so much confidence, I'm going to throw it back at you. I hope you're ready. I'm gonna knock him now.
So tell us, you don't have anything to say.
One of the reasons why you've got the confidence you've got witness is because you've got millions of people that confirm that what you're thinking is makes sense.
But my confidence was there before I met them.
Of course it was. But it's now validated. Whether you believe it or not, it's now been validated.
What if they disagree? Okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. Zine, and it's an honest question.
Yeah.
Are you saying that if millions of people disagreed with me, my confidence would not be there?
It would be affected to a degree.
Let me ask him a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe people have different personalities?
People have different personalities.
So you do get that there are people who, if I'm saying, how do you know you did a good job? There are people that depend on other people saying they did a good job for them to be sure.
Sure.
But there are people that validate themselves. because they set an internal standard. They know that they did a good job without anyone saying it.
Sure.
Different personalities.
So basically, I know
So you are
at work, for instance, some people are waiting for the leader to say you did well.
Yeah.
They're not going to say I did well in this thing. Okay?
So which means you are on the other side. You are not waiting for someone else to come and tell you that you did a good job
And
for
there
you
are
to
people who
know.
get married and they want that from a wife or a husband.
Some people do, yes. Some people
Different people, different personalities.
Why would you not want it? Why would you not want it?
Oh, it's lack of self-esteem. Honestly speaking. No, here's why what I'm saying. Because remember, I love the discussion because we don't have to agree, right? If I marry someone and I want so much validation from them, I think that would be a problem for me.
That's the extreme part of it. That's the extreme end. Now, hold on a second.
And even expect it.
Now, let's talk about the same thing, witness.
Coach, you're busy nodding. No one can see that
You
you're
say you should.
And you should.
okay? Qualify that. Qualify that.
No, when you
And how it affects business as well. You will get into that, Mr. Z and Coach.
no, so when you get married, you expect to be validated because you want to know, am I doing the right job? I almost took it somewhere, but you get what I'm saying. Am I doing the right job? You want to know, right? Am I, if the woman says, no, you're horrible at this, you're
Maybe
a bad
on
father,
taking
bad
care of-
husband.
Yeah,
bad
but
this,
remember,
bad that.
wait. Pause a bit. I think it's two different things now, what you're saying. I can ask you, am I treating you well? That's fine. I would need validation there. Understand? We're talking about a man pursuing his dreams. Why do I need validation from you if I'm pursuing my dreams?
Let me put it like this. It's a blank page you're throwing. You don't know whether or not it's okay or not. When somebody, there's a point that he said that is so valid and it's something that I actually never thought about. He says, you have been confident all along. But the minute you hit a certain number of subscribers, they validate your confidence. Not that you need the validation,
Yes.
but they're confirming that you are confident, not just to you, but to the world. Do you get it?
Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And that whole, exactly, let's go so with that point. What is the danger? He's spoken now about the extreme end of validation and the problems.
Sure.
Let me tell you about the extreme end of what you're talking about, where you don't need anybody to validate anything.
I didn't
No. I ain't me.
twist my way.
It sounds dangerous.
He said anything. I remember.
Well, okay,
I
fine.
said my dreams.
Your dreams and your confidence.
Jens, what did I say?
Your dreams
My
and your
dreams.
confidence.
I didn't say anything.
Correction.
Yeah.
Your dreams and your
I'm
confidence.
listening. You see? Yeah, I'm listening.
Your dreams and your confidence.
Sure.
Let me show you the extreme end.
Yeah.
There are people who are right and don't need anybody to tell them that they are right or wrong.
When it comes to their dreams.
When it comes to their dreams, when it comes to their
Yeah,
confidence.
but I think we're taking the conversation in a different level.
No,
Validation about a lot of things. That's fine.
spoke about the negativity of needing validation.
For my dreams. I don't need validation for my dreams.
You don't need it, but some people do.
Why? That's the point I'm asking. Why?
Why? You've explained why.
So
And now I'm saying to you, when you are a man or a woman
Yeah.
who does not need validation from your partner,
For my dreams. You must
for
be
your
here.
dreams and your confidence, you spoke about it.
Yes.
And your confidence. You know what the danger with that is psychopathy. The danger with that is narcissism.
No.
That's the danger.
Man, what's your dreams I want?
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, there is a danger with that. Where
going to another level now.
you are saying, I'm going to go for my dream. I don't need your validation.
Why do I need your validation to go for my dreams? They were my name before you arrived.
Your dreams that you're pursuing affect me. They affect me in terms of time. They affect me in terms of my emotional availability. They affect me in a lot of
Okay,
ways.
maybe let's describe the word validation. When you say you need validation from someone, let's say for instance,
Okay, let's say confirmation.
wait. Confirmation.
Yeah, let's call it confirmation.
Either way, what you are
The word
saying to the
validation is that, no, but here's the thing, right? You married to someone,
Yeah.
right? And they say to you, I don't think your dreams are valid enough because I don't think you can achieve anything. In fact, how I tell you, and you give up, you've got problems yourself.
we
You understand? Why do you need validation? Like what I'm saying is, I feel like a lot of what you guys are saying, man, you grew up being put down I'm not saying you guys specifically. You grew up having some sort of a void that you had. Now you're an adult. You want that void to be filled by other people. Work on yourself.
That's the solution. That's the solution.
Yes,
But there are
work
people
on
that are
yourself.
like
Why
that.
do you need another adult to validate you?
But there are people that are like that. And funny enough,
So
when they...
we must agree to Kanabarking. Something that's not... Yes, what's that? You agree to disagree? Say what you need to say.
You know what?
Did you say what you needed to
I'll
say?
give you. The simple version of your question is you're saying basically to people, why are you sick?
If you're sick, you go to the doctor.
Yeah, but
That's
your
what I'm
question
saying. If
is,
you don't have-
why are you sick? So it's an unfair question to give to someone who hasn't worked.
No, that's not the question.
When you're sick, why do you need validation?
When you are?
Whatever the case is.
I don't understand, coach.
If someone is expecting it and needs it, maybe they grew up, they were not validated, they have the trauma and they're expecting it
So
from
they
their
have
partner.
They have what?
Trauma.
That's what the problem is. It's trauma.
Yeah.
So why don't you fix the problem?
But we're talking about
That's what we're talking about.
By wanting it from someone else.
no, that's not what we're saying. You are the one that keeps on saying that.
So here's the thing. It's important to know this information because in everywhere, business school, wherever relationships, you'll come across the same type of people.
Yeah.
Then when you know that there's some people that require validation, you know how to deal with them. You know, that's the most important thing.
Listen, I'm not saying there are people who don't need validation. I'm saying, why do you, as an adult man that needs to work and pursue their dreams, need validation from another woman?
I'll answer from a woman who wants to succeed more than where she is right now.
Yes.
That there are women that seek validation, even those that are successful because of lack of something and they need it from somewhere else. It's similar to a woman who has daddy issues. They look for a man who will give them a daddy vibe. It's a similar thing. Yes, but then the answer to the question, you just answered it. The person does have issues. But the question is, from where you are standing, how do you then impact that person's life and change that person's life and cause them to be productive and cause them to be successful? So from a person who has overcome it because of experience, has, kicked in, how do you then deal with that particular person?
I help them heal, Mus.
Yeah, but the thing is, how do you help them heal if you
don't give the validation?
if you don't fully appreciate the fact that they need it? It doesn't. And the thing is this, it's human. It's not right or wrong. We live in an imperfect world with imperfect people with a lot of lack. Yeah, that's the reality. And the reality is that there are many people who didn't have those things.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that for me as a leader, for me as a pastor, for me as a coach, I need that information and I need to know how to handle it.
Okay, why don't you need validation? Why don't you said you don't need it? Why don't you need it?
I won't say that I don't.
You said you don't need it. Don't change your words. You said you don't need validation. Why don't you need validation? Don't change. Be a man of your word.
Okay.
Why don't you need validation?
Listen. Don't try to pretext my question. You have to allow me the freedom to answer my question. Leading your honor, objection. Leading the witness.
You are leading.
No, you're asking leading questions.
Okay, sharp.
You're asking leading questions.
Why don't you need validation?
As a human being, I need validation.
Okay, now you need it.
But I have managed and I've developed an ability to continue without it. I can continue without it. I can live without it.
Okay.
And I can, in the same way that certain people need certain things, but they can do without them even though they don't have those needs. If they have those needs. I can do, I've managed and I know how to do without it.
Okay, guys, do you have any question? I want the young guys. You want to ask a question? We've got 2 minutes. Jens, you've got a question?
One last question about this whole thing of validation. You get experience, you grow up and you decide that you don't need validation anymore. There's something that you need to be wary of, the pride of thinking you know everything.
No,
so the question is, we get it, but then how do you break that pride? Because you can't get, it's a danger zone. Not needing validation, the risk is you might have pride.
Now you can all disagree. Let me tell you, for me, when it comes to my dreams, you can all disagree. I'll still go for it.
No, that's good.
Why do you need validation? Can't the dreams take it somewhere? Whose dreams are these? Here's what the problem is. And let me tell you, Steve Harvey says this a lot, right? He says this. A lot of you God has given you dreams to pursue certain things, but you went and told it to your family members and friends who don't agree, and you ended up not going for it. I don't want to be that person. Let me tell you something. When somebody says, when you have dreams and you believe in them and you don't take what anyone else says, it's pride. I would rather be prideful. Personally, I'd rather be prideful because when I'm dreaming, I'm alone. When I'm working, I'm alone. Well, when you're married, of course, now you dream together. The point I'm making with all of this is that if I've got a dream and other people do not agree with the dream, I don't need their validation.
Yes. I think on this, I agree with you, Mr. Mdaga, because of, I think that validation can be a dangerous thing, especially for us young people, because of what happens if you don't get that validation. Does that mean you're supposed to stop and not pursue your dreams? You understand? So I say that as a young person, you don't need validation from anyone. I think that you should pursue and pursue whatever that anyone or anyone that says anything doesn't really matter. You should go after your dreams regardless. You understand? That's why I perhaps agree with you. You understand? Validation can be a very dangerous thing, because people maybe your parents might not believe in you or someone else. You understand? So that doesn't really give you the reason to not pursue your dreams, because at the end, it's your dream. It's for you. You're not doing it for someone else. You understand? That's why I perhaps say you don't need any reason from anyone. You understand? So I agree with you, but I hear also his point. You understand? There's people like that. So yeah, thanks.
So let me throw it back to you, ne? And Mr. Z, I'll throw it back to you. I've never been validated, as a young person, by my dad, for instance. Ne? Like, obviously, I was validated by mom, my grandmother, my aunts. I was validated. But my dad only validated me when I was already an adult who was married. Right, So growing up, I had never heard from my dad, I'm proud of you. So must I now go looking for I'm proud of you from every Tom, Dick and Harry that I meet?
All right. Let me answer your question. Where this conversation went south was that you asked me a question about a productivity. And then you went on and made about dreams. And I'm realizing that's where everything went wrong.
But I kept reading.
No, hold on. Let me finish.
So I don't defend yourself. Don't explain.
I'm trying to explain. I'm looking at what we're talking about, and I agree with what you're saying about your dreams and that you need validation. I agree with you 100%. But the question that you're asking was about productivity, which is not just about your dreams, which is about you as a human being in general. That part of what you're doing requires validation from others to make sure that you're not harming them, to make sure that what you're doing actually is serving them correctly. When it comes to your dreams, I agree with you. I don't need somebody to validate my dreams. I don't need someone to validate my dreams.
Not even your wife.
I don't need. I don't need. My dreams are mine. My call is my call. As a matter of fact,
I've been saying this for the last 30 minutes.
But that's what I'm realizing, the distinction. I'm making the distinction now, and I'm saying, even now, the conversation has been mixed up between productivity and dreams. The question you asked me was about productivity. It wasn't about dreams.
I get the question, then other people participated.
And then it got
evolved up like that.
No, but it didn't. It got mixed up.
It's evolution.
It got mixed up. The question for me, what I was actually taking up issue with, was the fact that you don't need validation at all. But you are making a clear distinction, but the validation is about your dreams.
Because we talked about men and women that are married, okay?
The question you asked me was productivity in general.
That's different. We are here now. We are here. We've arrived here. Do you have a question? Let's give her a chance. How we got here is irrelevant.
It's relevant.
Yeah.
All right. So I get both your points, and I think mostly on your side in terms of when you are married, I think the validation that you're talking about is not really as a need, but as a feel good. When you are a child and you do something and your parents says, "Hey, well done." It doesn't necessarily mean that. Depending on your psychological background and where you're from, there are people that have never had validation at all, and they never got exposed to even wanting something for themselves. So there's nothing that's motivating them, right? But in instances where you find a young man maybe that comes from a background that was harsh, and they come to a point in their lives that they want to do something of themselves, it is within them to actually pump what, people who are privileged maybe got in their households, but they have to inject that in themselves because they never had somebody. And sometimes it's not even a well done. Sometimes it's, for example, witness your mom saying, hey, manage these rooms. It is her belief that you can do it. That could be a form of validation that actually I believe that you can do this. And even if your mom or somebody wouldn't have come to you at a stage in your life to say, hey, you did great, the fact that you were put on a platform and you actually persevered in that, and you see that as an evidence, which is a validation to yourself that I can actually do it. So it's not really reliant on somebody. And I believe in the context of marriage as well, it's not your spouse saying, no, you can't do it and you quit. No, obviously, ultimately, as a man, you need to be on purpose and know what you're here for, and nothing shall derail you from that. But it's a feel good to know that somebody recognizes your efforts, and it pumps you up tomorrow to say, hey, actually, I can do it better. But it doesn't necessarily mean if tomorrow she wakes up and feels indifferent, then it takes away the very call that you've been exposed and uncalled for on earth by God.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Well summarized.
I should summarize.
I think she wraps it up.
Yeah, I should do it.
That's a mic drop, right?
Yeah. I see Coach is also dropping the mic.
I'm dropping it.
That's a mic drop.
Last sentence.
It's okay to disagree, right? Because that's part of your independence as a human being. And I think going back to in agreement with what Witness was saying, the challenge is wanting to be in agreement with everybody. And that can really slow you down when you are always trying to make sure that everybody agrees with what you need to get done. And so I think it's important to have that mindset of being independent and being okay with disagreeing, being okay with agreeing. But more than anything, test your ideas and make sure that your ideas are productive and they serve you well.
Coach, last words?
I think it's more to what Ucha was saying. It's fun to hang with you guys because you're not afraid to disagree where you disagree. And it's a good thing. You always test your ideas, you get challenged, and you get to think and reflect on the stuff that you think you know, right? So I appreciate it. And I was ready to drop the mic now with the conclusion that we were given here.
Yeah.
So I think what I will say is, maybe to give you context, when I listen to statements, I always think about the multitude of clients that I coach and how those statements would land with them, because some of them have got challenges and they're real. Some of them have got traumas and they're real. Some of them have lost businesses. Some of them are going through divorces and they've been put down. So I listen to a statement and think, how would that land to this person that's going through this and it's their lived reality right now, right? So that's where I always come from. I'm helping you understand me. So I'll always fight for my people to say, but no, healer. You see,
when you're a healer,
you always say,
different.
As much as you've gone through the journey and you figured it out, not everyone has. So I think it's always good. Your statements are good and they're challenging because they give anyone an aspiration to say, this is who I want to be. But let's say them in a way that's always understanding that there's the other side that are still working on it.
This one is a builder, and there's a difference between a builder and a healer.
Yeah.
A builder has got a different mindset, and a healer has a different mindset.
And we need him.
It's always averse, aware.
And we need him.
And pain and wound. You on the other end are thinking about what needs to be done and has to be done. You know what I mean? And they work. Each one of them has got a different purpose.
Thank you for that balance. I think that's what this was about, the balance. So I appreciate you, and I'm glad that we can sit here and disagree. It would be a boring world for us to all agree of the same thing, and if you're watching this, please comment, let us know which part of the conversation you resonate with. Coach spoke about the fact that things land differently on different people. And that's how life is supposed to be. It's not supposed to land the same way to everyone. But we mean nothing but love. And that's why we created this channel. It's more than just money movement. If you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button, click on the notifications bell so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Until the next one, it's more than just money. Ciao, ciao.
Peace.